कुछ नहीं change हुआ. We have forgotten our memory. Surely, some of the Tamil filmmakers said we must never allow these films to come here. हम बना नहीं पाएंगे ऐसा pictures. So why should we allow them to come? Instead of saying that we should make a film like that, they got scared of films like that, like Sholay, and many other films. Like we wanted, I wanted to become a director, not an actor, when I saw Achanak. I keep referring to that film. What great films! And I didn't speak the language then, but cinema spoke to me. It doesn't matter whether it is Bongaliasm, Achanak, or even Padosan. It touches my heart. That's why the films I make, at one time is Virasat, another time it's a Chachi Charlobis. That's because I'm influenced by that kind of cinemas. Nothing has changed, sir, except the audience with newer experience and forgetting the older memories. It's improving, and I'm closer to the audience now than my predecessors. Thank you.
Any Hindi film in the pipeline? I'd
like to call all films that I make, all of it. But I wish it would become a regular habit. I could afford to go only once after every film. Now I wish I could go almost bring those people here, which I do sometimes. And it's not just me learning, my team learning is also important for me. And this cinema, people think the stars who stand on the dais and get the limelight are the only people who make films. No, there are at least 200 people who make that one shot of my screaming. There are 6 people making it work. The focus puller, the man who pulls up the crane, the man who lights up the whole night. I just walk in and take the light and shout. But there are 200 people every time. Any one of them can go wrong and you will say something is wrong with the frame. Apart from that, I have many people behind making these banners go up to let you know, to distribute it, to send it to the correct theaters and program it well. It's so many people, and it's arrogance for any star to think that he made the film happen. He works in the film. I take a holiday and let it to these people. They take care of it. I have them sitting quietly here. I have people from Sony, Rajat Saab. I have Jayantil Bhai here. And I have even the songwriter Rakib here who makes it work for me. And every little thing, he writes it wrong, they'll say, "Acha nahi hai gana," and they'll blame it on me. And when the song is very good, they forget him. They think it's Kamal Haasan's song. I'm also a lyricist. I wrote the Tamil version and I sat with him for the Hindi version. I understand how much work it is. It's not just 4 lines. It is remembered for 50, 40 years if it becomes a hit. So we are writing for another generation. So I thank all of them, especially the young director who claims to be my fan. After this film, I'm his fan. I'm his fan. And there is Fahad Fasil Saab, who's becoming national. Somebody asked me, when you work, when you sign, I sign because it's a legality. Otherwise, they asked me, when you go to work, I said it's nearly 30-35 years since I worked. I'm on a holiday and they pay me for it. I love my work, I love cinema as much as you do. I'm a film fan and I'm fortunate to be behind and in front of the camera, in front of the projectors like you, and sometimes behind the projector watching my production rolling out to you. So when he asked me when I sign it with the same love I sign an autograph. I live up to the promise whether or not I've signed on that paper. Otherwise, I never get into a project. It's not about signing. My commitment is when I agree, when I love the project. The paper, I'm a lawyer's son, so I do understand the importance of the papers. But otherwise, the papers don't matter. My paper is my tongue, and my pen is my mind. When you say South Ka film success ho raha hai, I think it's an Indian film which is succeeding, as compared to a Hollywood film succeeding here. It doesn't matter which part of the country makes. We learned making big films from films like Mughal Azam, Sholay, and we didn't even try them because it was so big that Tamil films or Malayalam films could not afford a film either.
Sir,
We just saw them.
Sir, even Ek Duje Ke Liye, that was also a cult.
Ek Duje Ke Liye was doable. Anybody could have done it. A Bengali could have done. All you needed is brains like Mr. K. Balachandran. If you had that kind of brain, anybody could have done it. But Mughal Azam is not just intelligence; it's guts to make. He's made it for years, decades, to make that film. I've seen Sholay, worked with the maker of Sholay. I never thought I would even meet him, but I worked with him. So we do understand and respect. We should respect each other. They're stopping them. In spite of it, they watch Hindi films. All this political janjat with Bhasha, it'll keep happening. But artists and sportsmen are the people who keep breaking it. Hero for a Tamilian living in a native place where I come from, Paramakudi, they can't even pronounce a Hindi word. To tell you the truth, Tendulkar is the one Marathi word they've learned. So it is like that, and these people are great uniting factors. I'm always open to making a double version. But my CEO and my co-producer, they're nervous because that will shoot up the cost like anything. The actors are not the worst part. It's a number of, even if you take one shot, which you will double up and use it for another film, you still have to pay everybody twice. And they are concerned about that. But if somebody like me, for example, I made Hey Ram as two different versions. That's why you will not find any linguistic discrepancies, because Manohar Shyam Joshi Saab wrote the Hindi dialogues and is a great Hindi writer, and you can see the value of his writing fully without any filters. And I wrote the Tamil film. Likewise, I wrote for Vishwarupam in Tamil, and Vishwaroop was written by Atul Tiwari Saab. So it has its value. You're losing out on something while we gain one payment. We reduce one payment, but I think soon Jayantilal Bhai and others will sit together and say, why not make a double version? And actors will have to consider this and not ask for two payments, but become partners in the film. That's the only way you can reach out. Like, there is still more potential in South for Hindi cinemas to grow. So 10 years later, they should talk. And it doesn't matter what genre it is, how costly the film was to make, or how cheap, economically we made the film. We can make an economical film, but we've never made a cheap film. So when somebody says, even today somebody said, I've watched your Chachi so many times. And she was kind, she didn't want to say from my childhood. And so that's a great feeling. And Mr. Kankaraj keeps saying that he came to cinema because of me. Everybody comes to cinema because of one person, icon that he knows. I was happy to be in Hindi cinema, the same air breathed by Dilip Kumar Saab. So that's what I felt. I never thought I would meet him. But for Ek Duje Ke Liye Silver Jubilee, he came and he shook hands. And I think that's the same pleasure he got when he saw tears in my eyes that I get when Lokesh says he became a director because of me, he got the idea because of me. That's all. That's what do you call delayed payment that we get, apart from the check that we get. I think all my knowledge is extramural. I never went to any university. So when I speak English, it's what I learned out of school. So I'm always nervous. I go back and check. In those days, you didn't have Wikipedia or Google to check. So you have to really be right. Or somebody will do this. An educated man there would say, he speaks English, but he's not educated. He'll spot me right on. So that happens with good actors who see amateurs performing in front of them. So I learned from them. I'm still learning, and that's why it's a holiday for me. I have no degrees. I never threw my hat off and said, I'm a graduate now. I never had a hat. So that's why I keep changing them. I'm not too sure which one will fit me. But that is, the first most important thing, if you want to know what is the magic word, it is because I'm a film buff. If I'm not in here, I'll be here, in here, watching films. Thanks to OTT, and he shouldn't get upset about it, but he has also come from that digital into this form. And I enjoy my life better because I go back to my old films, watch them, not mine, the films that I enjoyed most. Like people, we don't realize the kind of values that we have within our own. We make fun of our films and say, "Dekho, West mein kya banate hain?" We also make silly films continuously. What we remember are the greats, because people like Jayantilal Bhai never brought all the films made in Hollywood here. They only brought the cream. So we don't know what's the crass film they're making. Whereas all that we do, we keep watching and comparing it with the best in the world. Compare our best with their best. And then you will see Mughal Azam is no way lesser than a David Lean film. And you'll realize that the core seed for a film like First Blood came from a film called Achanak. Watch it. And then I'm that kind of a film buff. So I'm grateful, and I'll keep watching films, and I hope you will also watch. When I was recommending that OTT should come, people in exhibition were very worried. I didn't know how to convince them because they were worried when satellite television came. And I told them that it will become another branch of this head office bank called Moving Images. Don't worry about that. But I couldn't convince them then. It came, and then they realized now the only way I could say, I'm not a great believer, but I do believe in change. So I told them in a language that he would understand. So what is that in your neck? He said, that's Balaji. Okay, I'll tell you your example. Just because you have a calendar, yes, it has emotions, it has a bit of romance, not fed in because it's not in a formulaic manner, but it is there. And about the energy, you just applaud once and I'll get the energy for the next film. So that is my energy. I get my energy from the applause, or the anticipation that they might applaud gives me that energy. I think it is, right now I come from Kerala. Kerala, they said we will do 4,000. I said 4,000? Are you sure? Now, before I left yesterday, they said we'll cross 5,000 screens in Kerala, a small state called Kerala. And Tamil Nadu will cross 900 prints. Totally 5,000 plus is what we are looking around the world. Thank you.
मैं एक बात तो जब मैं सर के साथ रिकॉर्डिंग कर रहा था तब मैं उन सर को बोलना चाह रहा था कि जब एक दूजे के लिए रिलीज हुई थी सर, तब मैं उस वक्त 9th क्लास में था और मुझे घर से 50 पैसे मिलते थे तो पॉकेट खर्च के लिए, तो मैं 4 दिन इसको जमा करता था, फिर एक दूजे के लिए नहीं जाता। तो मैंने 18 बार देखे थे और मुझे तब ये उम्मीद नहीं थी कि एक वक्त आएगा कि मैं सर के साथ काम करूंगा, उनके लिए लिखूंगा और उनके साथ बैठूंगा। तो मैं सर को बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया कहना चाहूँगा सर को कि आपने इतना बड़ा मौका दिया, और अनी को भी, अनिरुद्ध, उनको भी बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया अदा करना चाहूँगा। और पुष्पा के बाद थोड़ा बहुत लोग मुझे जानने लगे, पहचानने लगे और मेरे गानों की वजह से, और आप लोगों का प्यार इसी तरह मिलता रहे और बस यही उम्मीद करते हैं। थैंक यू सो मच।
One little side story. Devi Shri Prasad is a good friend of mine. He's very fond of me. So when we were making Patala Patala, he asked me, who's writing your song? So I didn't know. I asked and they said his name. Then it's fine. He wrote Srivalli. Congratulations. He said before even I recorded the song. So that's what it does. That is stardom and he's enjoying it now.
Thank you, sir.
Kudos to my friend.
Right. Gentlemen, Rakib Bhai, Raj sir.